GOG has always stayed pretty under the radar when it came to rejecting games, censorship, especially recently when, with their competition, Steam has been making a lot of poor decisions when it comes to content policies, banning games for little to no reasons, finding poor excuses to ban or remove games. And I actually read about this situation yesterday, and I was really sad because I personally support GOG more than any other digital platform. I have over 100 games on GOG that consist of things like Baldur's Gate, System Shocks, Might Magic 7, 8, and 9, every Ultima on the platform, and it makes me really sad to question this platform because I've put a lot of money into it, and I've put a lot of time into GOG more than any other platform, like I said. I mean, I usually get the games on sale for like $2 or $3 because GOG is great when it comes to older games like this, more classic games like this being on sale, but, you know, it all adds up eventually, and I would hate to leave the platform because of poor decision after poor decision. This would be the platform that I would miss the most, so let's talk about this newest situation. Cleveland Mark Blakemore has been working on releasing Grimoire Herald of the Winged Exemplar on GOG after years of tweaking it, working on it, putting a lot of time into it, and he finally tried, and the response that he got back really didn't make a lot of sense. It was a really bland and really useless answer, and I wonder honestly how he felt about this response from GOG. Because it doesn't really fit into what GOG and good old games is about. This is a game that really has that good old games feeling to it. Now, I did want to note really quickly, this game is on Steam, but he released it back in 2017 on Steam, and he's fixed a lot since then. I mean, he's put a lot of time and work and effort into this game, because when he originally released it, he knew that it needed more work, but he consistently and constantly patches it, fixes things, fixes errors, fixes bugs. He is very on top of this game while it's on Steam itself. Never mind, you know, it releasing on GOG this time around 2 years later, and it being a better game than it was then. So GOG, in a response to an email, said, "We've taken a look at Grimoire, and it looks like a rich RPG game with complex combat, deep lore, fun mechanics, and simple mechanics, yet eye-catching retro graphics. Unfortunately, however, we feel like the game would not be a good fit for GOG, as we think it appears to be too niche and a bit too small in scale of terms of production value for our users, which means that we aren't confident in its release potential on our site. For these reasons, I'm afraid we will have to pass on the game. If there are any other games in the future that might be a better fit for GOG, please let us know, and hopefully we will be able to work together." Oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is what they said. Definitely think this game, yes, does only appeal to a specific type of audience. A lot of games that I actually talk about here on the channel do only, you know, appeal to a specific type of audience. But that audience is on GOG. If you look at similar games of this genre, there are plenty of games that are similar to this that have even less time and effort put into them. I personally feel like this game is what GOG is about, you know, having a place for eye-catching retro graphics and a rich RPG game, like they called it themselves. I mean, it's obviously got a place on GOG, maybe more than even some other games have a place on GOG. One thing that I did want to mention is this game has been in development, or was in development, for 17 whole years. Now, over these 17 years, he consistently said year by year, this game is going to release this year, it's going to release this year, it's going to release next year. And after 17 years, he finally released it. Now, the problem with this is that GOG is not saying that I am going to assume is a problem, is the fact that this game, a lot of people don't like him after this game because he didn't hit his deadlines, he promised that it would be out, so he lost consumer confidence, he lost business confidence, he lost confidence in the whole industry around himself, and that is a problem here. And I feel like that is why they are not allowing this to release, and they are not saying it is because they don't like him himself. Now, this to me speaks levels, because that means he will never have a game released on GOG. If they are, you know, ignoring this game and rejecting this game, they are never going to accept a game of his. And even in the email it says, you know, if you have a better game to release on GOG, then we'll talk business. That's not true. They are rejecting this game because they do not like him, whether it's the employees, whether it's the company, whether... No matter what the situation, someone does not like him in the industry, and that is why he is not getting his game on GOG. And it's a shame to hear. And his game did get on Steam before Steam really started this escapade and this crusade against, you know, employee factors. If an employee likes the person, if the employee likes the game or not. Now we're seeing anime games being very heavily censored, being rejected, being denied, and we're seeing a lot of other games like this too. But GOG is now following these footsteps because they do not like the man himself, and they are not, of course, going to say this, but it's a really awful excuse to say your game is too niche, when realistically, this is the factor of why his game is being declined on the platform. People do not know that this game was in development for 17 years, and that's the problem. He lost consumer confidence, he lost business confidence, and now, unfortunately, people like GOG, maybe employees that knew him, you know, the company knew him, and now they're not going to accept his game or any game he creates because they don't have confidence in him himself. But that is the situation. We are not going to be seeing this game on GOG anytime soon, and at least you can still buy it and play it, you know, on Steam and everything, but it's still not the same. I would have rather purchased this on GOG since GOG is my main platform, but now we know, and we've discussed the reasons why it's not actually getting on the platform. I know a lot of people were questioning it, a lot of people were very upset by this, but... you know, with a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, looking into his back history, and then finding out more about this project, it's pretty easy to come to the conclusion that someone obviously in the industry doesn't like him and his decisions and how he creates games and his business practices. But if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a like, and of course if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either which way, but I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and all of the information packed into it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video really soon.